Hello, my name is Mark and welcome to I Am Organic Gardening. I've been organic gardening now for probably 11 years and I've learned a lot that I want to share with you. But the most important thing I want to share with you today is something that's a cover crop and also a survival food. And a lot of people are planting up their full gardens right now, or you have done it already. You started seeds inside and brought them out because it was a drought. Like this year, we went through a 60-day drought with a 1/4 inch of rain. And I want to share something with you that I believe that you should try. Definitely try, because you're going to reap the benefits of it. Again, it's a cover crop and it's also a survival food. And what I'm talking about is the Daikon Radish. Now, there's other names for it: No-Till Radish, oilseed radish, but it's really a Daikon radish, and it's going to grow this big taproot in your garden, and it's going to get probably, it can get anywhere from 1 foot long to 2 feet long and about, let's say, 3 to 4 inches thick. They grow quite large if they're spaced properly apart or something like that. But I overdid it. I wanted to use it now in the next month, and the best thing is about this, if you plant it now, it usually has to take at least 3 or 4 frosts to really kill it off. So it's something that will extend past your first frost date. And even if you get a hard frost, it's got to do it like 3 times in a row for it to go bad. Daikon radishes are used a lot in Oriental cooking. It's delicious. There's so many recipes online. I want you to look at them first before you plant this up. And it is a radish taste, but with all these different recipes, it's just amazing food for you to have, especially in your garden. And it's number one thing about it, it's so easy to grow. Now, I had a little bit of a problem with germination because we were in a drought and I didn't get to water it, and then I can see it that way. But right now I've learned some other things I want to share with you, but I want to first show you a picture of what the Daikon radish looks like when it's completely grown, and here it is. So here we have a prime example of that tillage radish or Daikon radish. This is what it looks like, this white big long taproot. And then you'll see also too the leaves that are fully edible also too, how big it gets. And now these are spaced about 2 feet apart, and it will grow this large. And a lot of people cut this up into diced cubes and put them in their soup, and it's extremely delicious. And you can tell the size by that shovel. The shovel is pretty much about a foot long on the right hand side, but it's so delicious and they're great to have. Now, it leaves a nice sized hole in the ground, which I'll show you shortly. Here previously I grew these Daikon radishes over the last couple of years, and now shortly you'll see in the video that I've done years ago already that will remove this Daikon radish and will leave such a hole in the ground. That's the purpose of the Daikon radish, is to open up that soil and again go down about 6 to 8 inches or even deeper depending on the radish. Now, what's nice about this is that when this dies off here, that organic matter is going to go down inside that hole, and all that organic matter is going to be delivered down inside your soil. So I'm going to pull this out here, and then you can see how deep it goes and how big that taproot is, and making that size hole that's in the ground. And it's just amazing that it just grows this large and is able to push that soil aside, and then it will slowly die out. And you can see how deep it went down. That's about 6 to 8 inches easily, and that's the hole that's left over inside the ground from all these tillage radishes that are growing in your garden. Now, it will freeze and die off over winter, but it will take a couple good hard frosts to kill it off, or cold weather. And it just is a great thing to have in your garden right now. It's a survival food, like I mentioned before, and it will do this. It will till your soil for free and will grow fungi back in your soil again. But it won't be a living root over winter because it will die out. But you can see how deep that hole is. And the best other thing about this, it attracts earthworms in the springtime because of that decaying food that's in the ground, and will help you immensely to rebuild and grow your soil. Here I have the Daikon radish growing in my garden. I have an area that's about, let's say, 1,000 square feet, 12 feet wide and about 80 feet long. And you can see that's growing nicely in here. Now, I sowed these seeds on top of the soil and then raked them in about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep. And they germinate within, let's say, 3 to 4 days, depending on your weather and the moisture that's in the soil. Now, this Daikon Radish you're looking at right now, or oilseed radish or no-till radish, is about maybe a little over a week old already, and you can see it's doing extremely well. And what's nice about this is that Daikon Radish is totally edible. It is so delicious and nutritional for you. Now I will come in here and thin them out later on, and it makes it like kind of a white carrot, which you just saw in that picture. Now I will use this. I'm a big fan of soup when it gets colder, and in about another, say, I don't know, probably about another 4 weeks, I will be eating soup at least twice a day. And I love to add these to my soup. It's kind of like a small carrot, add them in there, and it just gives me that nutritional value so I can work harder on the farm. But so good for you and so understanding. And also, it just makes so many holes in your soil. Now, I want to say something, I've always said this on my channel. You want a living root over winter time to help grow fungi in your soil, because that's what you're mostly lacking. You have a lot of bacteria in your soil, but you don't have fungi, and it has to be a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, a lot of people again will say that it doesn't have to be a 1-to-1, you should have more bacteria in your soil, but you know what, when it comes down to it, nature's going to take care of that equalization for you, and you're going to be on your way to have a successful garden with nutrient-dense vegetables. I have all these Daikon radishes coming up, and they're going to just give this large taproot the ability to go down and open up that soil for me. And then I'm going to have that survival food like I mentioned, and it's just going to be an easy thing to harvest. Like I mentioned before, there's so many recipes, and you'll enjoy eating them. So here's an example of what the Daikon radish seed looks like. It's a little bit bigger than your most radish seeds that are out there that you use. And it's a nice size, it's very good. It's easy to put on the top of the ground and see, and you can rake it in so you know that you buried it properly, like I said, that 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep. I want to share this with you also too. I'm always experimenting in my garden so I can give you more information that other people don't. Now what you see here down the line right here is oilseed radish, and see how nice and even they are, and the growth. And I put it down the same seeding rate as I did the other spot. The other spot has some bare spots on it because again we had a drought, and what I wanted to try here, and it worked very well. This, what you see with there, and I'll give you a close-up, inside this area here, I don't have soil. It's on the top here. What I have, and again I'll show you a close-up, I have leaf mold, and that leaf mold maintained moisture properly for all these radishes to grow. And I'll show you how deep the leaf mold is, but I just scattered the seeds again on top, raked it into this leaf mold that you see here, and it's doing extremely well in that drought time, because leaf mold will get the moisture from the air if you have high humidity, which we did, and all this is growing so nicely, and you don't see it lacking in color or green or nothing else either, and no nitrogen tie-up, and it's just growing right on top of the leaf mold. And I'll show you pictures later on. Hopefully the taproot will go down into the soil just like it's going to do in my other 1,000-square-foot bed that's next to it on the right hand side. So unbelievable. So let's get a better close-up to this in the soil, and I want to see how large a taproot or that root has gone down already in over a week. So let's see how deep our leaf mold is here. You can see it's quite moist. We've gotten over 1 inch of rain so far. Oops, I don't want to do that too quick. So now it's probably, the leaf mold is, let's say, I can feel the soil down here. I'm going to say to 4 to 5 inches thick. So let's try this one that we knocked over already. And now that seed went down pretty good. That seed was actually probably like about 1 inch deep. And let's see how far the roots are already. Now, not bad. That little clump, there's just a little bit of roots here, but you can see how far it went down the soil to the green top here. And it's got a nice little bunch of little fibrous roots on here. Now this root here, this is the one that's going to grow into your white carrot, and it's just started down here in the soil, but this is going to go down at least 6 to 8 inches in your soil, or even more depending on how thick or how dense your soil is. But you can see how beautiful it is already, and this is just in a week's growth time, or a little bit over a week. Now is the time to plant this fantastic seed up, oilseed radish, Daikon radish, no tillage radish. It goes by a lot of different names, but it's completely edible. Even the leaves on top are edible, and it's a delicious addition to any meal. I love it in soups. It does extremely well for you. So now's a good time because there is going to be a food shortage. People are wondering about this already. I just heard on the news the other day that basically, this is crazy, that the USDA is interested if you grow a garden and what you grow in it. And they're trying to get people to sign up and tell them what they're doing, and if you have your own backyard garden vegetables for sale. Now, that's kind of a scary little process, but it's something that we should heed the warning to. So again, enjoy, plant now, and you want to plant the Daikon radish at least about a month ahead of time before your first frost, so it can get established. So give it a good thumbs up. I enjoy it, and I will see you shortly with another video. And I will do, the next video will be showing how to plant in different sequences, some cover crops, different patterns, and not so much what type of cover crop to use, but different patterns you can plant up in to help you get better acquainted with cover cropping in your garden. Again, happy gardening, and I'll see you again shortly.